From PNC Studios at Hallis Hall, welcome into Position Breakdown with Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to dig into the linebacker position. The Bears already are considered to have one of the best front sevens in the NFL, one of the top defensive lines. And then you throw in a guy like Khalil Mack to lead the way. Still as good as ever, another Pro Bowl, 6 in his career, split it evenly with the Bears and the Raiders. And expecting big things out of Khalil Mack as always. 9 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, couple of fumble recovery last year for Khalil Mack. But overall, I think the pass rush rate success is something they're focusing on right now to get better in 2021.
Yeah, you know, Khalil Mack individually, he can go and win a one-on-one battle against anybody. But when they start focusing so much attention on his ability, his traits, and his skills, it's got to spill over to the other guys. And I think Khalil Mack has that type of dedication to his craft to make sure other guys can flourish because of it. He sets the example out there every single day in practice. He works hard, he runs hard, he's in shape. You know, he's physically gifted, he's determined. And I like the example that he sets for all these other guys, not only in his position, but this whole team. So I think the upside for Khalil is still, you know, all pro level. Not the Pro Bowl, I'm talking about an all pro level, and that's what Khalil has to strive for.
First to the ball all the time at practice, trying to win every race. A great guy to hitch your wagon to and learn from, that's for sure. And Robert Quinn has had a lot of experience as well, 80.5 sacks in his last 9 years. Self-admittedly wanted a much better season as opposed to what happened last season. Probably wasn't healthy the entire year. And if he comes back to form this year, paired with Khalil Mack, now offensive lines and tight ends have a lot to worry about.
Oh, no doubt. You know, and Robert Quinn has that type of ability, and that's what we need to be reintroduced to, because he is a type of a double-digit sack guy. Now, if they complement each other on each end of this defense, they're going to be able to wreak havoc on quarterbacks. However, it's going to help by the defensive line inside is going to have to play well to really expose these guys to the pass rushing opportunities that defensive coordinator Sean Desai wants them to have.
New addition this year, Jeremiah Atachu, 6'3", 262. He's had terrific success in this kind of system. Certainly with the Denver Broncos and Vic Fangio last year, probably was his best season. 20.5 sacks in his career in over 70 games. He had some veteran savviness and some size to him.
And he can play both sides, and I think that's an important role because, you know, whatever you get out of Khalil and Robert Quinn, you're going to have these counterparts to be able to insert there, and you're going to expect the same results and the same effort from them. So far, I really like what I've seen out of Atachu because he kind of looks like he's been in the system for quite a while. And, you know, you become familiar with offenses around the league when you have his experience, but he's got the individual ability to go out there and win rushes when we see him on the practice field. But when he gets around the rest of his counterparts, I think he can be a really nice balance for the other guys.
And then 17 appearances in the last 2 years for the Bears for James Vaughters, a very smart player. He's a guy is also dependable. Special teams linked to him as well. And then Trevis Gibson, 71 snaps in his rookie season last year, really adapting to a new spot. They had him inside playing almost a defensive tackle position at Tulsa. He's put on some lean mass. We knew that was going to happen with the second-year players, no matter what position, offense, defense, or otherwise. And so his attitude sounds like he's dialed in and ready to go, learning from Khalil Mack, learning from Robert Quinn.
Yeah, you know, Vaughters has got a lot of experience over the last couple of years. He's got a lot of playing time, and I think he's up to every responsibility they put on his shoulders, whether it's pass coverage or rushing the quarterback. And then you talk about Gibson. You know, he's kind of intrigued me throughout this training camp because I needed to see this guy that took it a second step immediately. This is not a 3 or 4 year project. This is, hey, you got a chance to play a little bit last year in the COVID season. We need to see you play a lot this year, but we need to see you be a factor in your snaps. And so, yeah, I'm excited that they have these 5 guys that we're talking about that all can come in here and contribute. But it's going to start with Quinn and Mack and filter off to the rest of the crew.
Let's not forget the baby brother, Ladarius Mack.
Yeah.
You can't miss him on the field.
Inside, outside, everywhere.
He's a fireball.
Yeah.
He really is. Yeah. And then Charles Snowden, 6'6", 3/8", 245 out of Virginia, undrafted rookie, broken ankle last year in 2020. But this guy showed a lot on college tape, just even dropping into coverage. You would think a guy 6'6", putting his hand on the ground and go, but he is playing a stand-up outside linebacker position. They had a 4th-round grade on him, so he was an undrafted free agent. So that's a sign that this guy's got a lot of traits that are intriguing. And this is a guy you might be able to mold. Maybe you throw more weight on he becomes a player like Roy Robertson Harris or others we've seen as Israel Donajee, given that size frame.
He uses his length very well. When you look at an outside linebacker and they're going against these offensive linemen or sometimes a tight end, and you're being able to engage an offensive player and being able to use your length, keep that separation, but earn your momentum upfield, Snowden can do that. So I know you brought him to my attention a couple weeks ago when camp started, and I'm excited again. What they do against an opponent that they don't have a lot of time studying, we're going to be able to see it in the practices here throughout camp, and then when the games start, those types of guys are going to get a lot of reps.
That's Bill Shuey's outside linebacker staff, crew rather, I should say, and now let's go to the inside linebackers and new assistant coach Bill Mcgovern. He's blessed. He says it. He's blessed to have one of the best inside duos in the NFC. Blend of youth and experience there again. But Roquan Smith now is taking the baton and taking control of the situation.
Yeah, that guy is in control of stardom because he has all the ability in the world to be considered one of those top 3 linebackers in all of the NFL. And when you look at his skill set, his determination, his improvement over the year, his ability to diagnose plays immediately, get in the way of the football, you know, everything that Roquan has done so far is earned him the opportunity to have the reputation he's been able to develop. So I'm excited about his future.
Only player in the NFL last year with 100-plus tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 2 interceptions. So a nice buffet of what he is capable of. And it's just not roaming the middle and hoping guys up front, you know, body up and give him places to run. He can go cover. He can cover the entire field. He can blitz. And I think there's a lot. He's poised to have a tremendous season. There's no doubt about that. Danny Trevathan, ready to rock in this is 10th season. Went to boxing, as you may or may not have heard. He thinks that'll give him some better conditioning throughout the course of the year. But the word I keep thinking of when I think of him, first of all, is toughness. But then you throw in intelligence. And, you know, he always talks about health is wealth. And it seems like every other year something happens where he's got to come back from. And last year he played an entire season, and he came in ready to roll.
You know, one thing I think that's allowed Roquan Smith to flourish so quickly in his career is having the experience to play next to Danny Trevathan, who has kind of seen it all. He's been in the AFC, he's around the NFC now. He understands how big boy football is played. He demonstrates his speed. He can deliver big hits. And so I think it's exciting that Danny Trevathan is kind of emerging as that exciting, that veteran that is really the leader of this group out here. Because when you go back to the veteran minicamp and you see the enthusiasm in which these guys played with for new defensive coordinator Sean Desai, Danny was one of the leaders, man.
Yeah.
He was one
of
the instigator of excitement.
Yeah, instigator of excitement.
Yeah.
That should be a job title.
Yeah.
I like that. Instigator of excitement. Ea Booniway, 49 snaps in 47 games. He's a value. He led the special teams unit in snaps. So there's a lot of value there in that role. And then, you know, you can't escape the dancing king Josh Woods. He brings a lot of fire and excitement. And now you got Alec Ogletree in the mix. And he's had a great start to his new Bears career here, signed just last week. 3 interceptions in 3 days in camp. He's around the ball. He would have been credited with a couple of sacks. And that's really fits what his resume looks like in his career. If you look at his numbers, it's very full. It's a nice stat sheet.
Dude can play. And the fact that I like he makes the position more competitive. Because we talk about Josh Woods and Ea Booniway, who are guys up and comers. They're young guys. They run well. They're getting more acclimated to the style of defense that's expected from them. But Alex Ogletree is a veteran that comes in here and he's performing immediately. 3 interceptions in his first 3 days of practice. So I like when you bring in a guy that increases the competitiveness of the depth and also makes these guys go, man, I got to really upgrade my style and my performance in practice.
Cheese is back as well.
Yeah.
Cheese is otherwise known as Christian Jones because the unmistakable smile on his face, but he can do it all. He can defend the run, he can cover, he can blitz. He's a very good blitzer, as a matter of fact, but the thing about him, he's a sure tackler. And that's a great piece to the puzzle. They can come up with packages with this guy on the field.
And that's what I think is you can have a lot of different packages with Christian Jones on the field, and I think variety is kind of the spice in the NFL nowadays. Because if you can see a vulnerability in your opponent's defense and you can put 7, 8 players at or near the line of scrimmage that have coverage ability and rushing ability, you're keeping your offensive line questioning themselves. So I think Sean Desai is going to be able to show his creativeness as well as how he's going to coordinate the defense.
And keep an eye on Austin Ogletree, 42 games in his career. Caleb Johnson, a rookie out of Houston Baptist. This is another guy to keep an eye on because he was a highly sought-after, undrafted free agent, 6'2", 227. Keep an eye on this guy down the road as well. That's going to wrap up our inside linebacker and outside linebacker look. I think we've done it all. We're ready for the season. That's Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. Thanks for watching.